Whilst we might have all experienced the same storm during the pandemic, we certainly haven't all been in the same boat. Those that are most vulnerable, those that were locked into poverty and injustice before lockdown, have often been hit the hardest. We've seen many situations where vulnerable people's rights have not been respected or upheld. Tom, one of the people we work with, lives in a care home. Due to staff shortages, he was not just confined to his room, but he was confined to bed with the bed rails up. He couldn't even get out of bed to go to the loo. You can imagine. It was undignified and unnecessarily restrictive. As the advocacy sector, we decided to undertake some research and paint a picture of what we've seen. So what did we discover? 76% of advocates, 76%, saw cases where people's human rights were not upheld between March and May this year. We can talk about stats in the report. Stats like 1/3 of advocates saw unlawful do not attempt resuscitation notices applied to whole groups of people in care homes or in other settings. But I prefer to talk about the human consequences. People like Sonia, someone with learning disabilities and underlying health conditions, who didn't understand the complex information she was getting about coronavirus and how to stay safe. There was no one to explain to her what the government guidance meant in the context of her everyday life. She stopped going to her health appointments and she ended up increasing her risk rather than reducing her risk. As the Advocacy Project, our focus into the second wave is on safeguarding, in keeping people safe. We've launched a number of initiatives to build the capacity of people and communities to keep themselves and others safe. Peer safeguarding champions, for example. We're also looking into the changing nature of abuse, given so much more of our lives now are confined to home and the amount of face-to-face contact we have with others is so much less and is likely to stay that way for at least the medium term. So what's our call to action? What's our ask? Our ask of you is, please stand with the advocacy sector and the people that we support. Let's work together to put in place solutions to make it better for those that are most disadvantaged. Please download the survey. Voice, Rights and Choice.